What is up, guys? We are back for another episode. Today's going to be a bit of a break from what we've been putting out over the last couple of weeks, and that we're going to go through some more tips and tricks. So, a couple things you guys might notice that I'll just mention before we really dive into all the good stuff that I've got for you today are two things. So, one, I'm on the default texture pack right now. I'm going to try a couple videos with this and just see how it goes. I know that some of you like the Sphax or the pure Beetroot texture pack that I normally use, but I've had a couple other folks say, hey, it's a lot easier to follow along when everything looks like it does on my screen. So I'm going to use this for a little bit and we'll see how it goes. And then the other thing is I got a new mic, so hopefully the sound quality sounds a bit better for you guys. And yeah, everything's just getting better and better as we go. So let's go ahead and jump into the tips that I've got for you guys today. So the first one, tip number one, is going to be that this game heavily favors co-op if you can find some good friends to play with, ideally people you trust. And the tip is that when you are playing on a co-op island, you can actually get your quests done, or some of them at least, done twice as fast, and or however many people you've got times fast, right? So if you have an island of 4 people, you can technically do quests 4 times as fast. And what I mean by that is we've got quests here, right? Like gather dark oak logs. There are quests earlier on in the game where you need to, eat raw beef or eat spider eyes, things like that. What's cool about the co-op island is that you both can do the activity, and as you both are doing it, it gives credit for each person that's doing the activity, right? So if you need to eat a stack of raw beef, you can have 2 people doing that, and each of you only have to eat 32 and the quest will be done. So the UI in terms of the quest tracking might get a little bit buggy in terms of showing you the overall progress, but if you actually open up your quest log and take a look at the quest that you're trying to get through, you'll notice that both of you are getting credit for the same thing. So it's not like the credit is individual to your account or your player, it's for the island as a whole. So the more people on your island, the faster you can get those quests done. All right, for tip number 2, we are actually on our solo island here, and tip number 2 is when you are in the early game, enchant your pickaxe and your other tools, specifically your pickaxe, with fortune as soon as you can. So you can see here I've got fortune 3 on my pickaxe, and while I've talked about getting double drops from generators in the past, there you go, I got 2 from 1 right there. Having fortune on your pickaxe will very quickly boost your ability to get cobblestone and just additional building materials, right, to build your island out. So when you're in the early game, focus on getting fortune. Don't worry about putting durability on your stone tools. It's really not worth it. Just do fortune, and you'll start getting those double drops a lot more quickly and really just get a nice inventory going of materials. So for tip number 3, we are going to talk about the quests. So as you guys know, or maybe don't, main quests that you have to do in order to actually progress through your island are all the yellow titled quests here, and the teal or light blue quests are all the side quests. Now, sometimes you might think, the side quests really aren't worth it, they're kind of annoying. Well, as you get further in the game, and this is where tip number 3 comes into play, is the later you get into the game, the more time you can spend on doing the side quests just to help keep yourself busy and to get some cool rewards here and there in the process of doing it. So, in this case, right, I'm certainly not in the late game, but I need to get 1,000 birch logs, right? And I needed to get 3,000 melons, right? Well, these things take hours and hours and hours to grow. The birch trees take like 12 hours, which isn't even that bad yet, right? And so there's a lot of waiting here that I can do while I'm waiting for those quests to get done. So if I want to keep playing, one thing I can do is actually focus on the side quests, right? So I can smelt some glass to get that one done. I can work on crafting some red carpet. So now none of these quests are required, and the rewards aren't necessarily groundbreaking. If you do like the progression system that we've got on Cubecraft Skyblock, you can do those side quests to keep yourself busy while you're waiting for some of the main stuff to get done. Okay, for the next tip, we're going to talk about spawners and generators. So this is something that I don't exactly know when, but Cubecraft has updated in the last several months. So if you haven't played in a couple months like I hadn't, this is going to be new to you. And that is that when you break spawners or generators, the blocks actually teleport straight to your inventory, so you don't have to worry about them falling into the void anymore, right? So I'm going to stand as far away back from this cow spawner as I can and break it, and boom, just like that, it's in my inventory. I can come over here, it's over the void, right? Boom, in my inventory. Generators work the same way in that when you right click on them to remove them, it's instantly back in your inventory. So this was not always the case. These used to just drop on the ground like normal blocks, and you had to pick them up and be super careful and make sure that they don't fall into the void. So that's now a great quality of life improvement, such that when you mine them or when you break them, they're right in your inventory and you don't have to go out of your way to make sure they don't fall into the void. So that's a really cool one. And let's go to the next one. All right, for tip number 5, we're back to the pickaxe again. You guys are going to get really tired of me talking about tools on Cubecraft, but there's a lot of nuances here that I think are helpful, and I wish I would have known some of them earlier on as well. And this one is that when your tool is getting to the point where it's about to break, the game does give you a visual warning that it's about to break, so you know when to stop. So typically in Minecraft, right, you're going to town on whatever it is that you're mining or breaking, and your tool gets down to that last little durability visual here, right, where there's not even a colored bar on my pickaxe. The red is gone and it's just almost totally transparent. Well, it's kind of hard to know exactly how many blocks you have, right? Well, as I keep going here, in just a second, the game's going to give me a visual saying that your tool is about to break. I don't know how this scales with different materials, so wood versus stone versus iron, but I know that on stone, you've got about 5 blocks or so before your tool is going to break. So again, it's a good visual reminder. The game gives you a second chance to make sure you don't break your tools. You know, like this one, Sky Fortune 3, I'd be pretty sad if I broke this one. So use that to your advantage, and hopefully that helps. For tip number 6, we're going to go over here to our beautiful melon farm. Look at this. This just is so not decorated at all and not beautiful at all. I'm just kidding. So tip number 6 is that there is a world border on Cubecraft, and someone can call me out if I'm wrong on this in the comments, but I'm fairly certain that the world border does expand as you unlock more islands. So when you reach the world border, you're going to see something visual like this, where there's like translucent blocks here, and if I'm crouching, I can't actually go over the side of this block to place another one. Now, I will say, see, I can't even jump over there, right? So there is a world border, and I thought you could actually fall through it, so maybe they changed that. But I'm fairly certain that this actually expands as you unlock more islands. So let me go to the hub real quick so that we get some light, so you guys don't like it when it's nighttime. There we go. So if you take a look at my solo world here, right, that's the second island that I'm looking at that you unlock, and it's not very far from me, right? Like I'm not super far away from it. But if we switch over to our co-op world, I'm on that same island. This is basically where that island spawns, and I can run all the way over here before I actually get to the world border. So we have the world border lined with some glass here just to make it look a little nicer. But yeah, so there is a world border, and I think, based on what I'm seeing here, it does expand as you progress and unlock more islands. Someone can also call me out on this. I think it's slightly over 200 by 200 blocks. I think someone said in a live stream it was like 226 by 226 or something like that. One of you crazy people went and actually counted it. So let me know in the comments what it actually is. But we have ours outlined with a beautiful dirt ring that I don't know if we'll be able to see it here. But yeah, so that dirt line goes all the way around, and Yeah, so we'll fill it in eventually, but there is a world border, and I believe it expands as you progress. All right, for tip number 7, we're going to get back to the early game a bit here and talk about Beetroot. So I've seen a couple people ask this. So again, some of you probably know this. This isn't anything very specific to Cubecraft, but I've had a number of people ask me and tell me that they're stuck on this, so I wanted to just include it here. And that is that Beetroot is going to be used as your red dye. So generally speaking, you don't really need red dye for anything, but there is a side quest here for us to get, where is it? I think I passed it. Yeah, roll out the red carpet. So we need to craft 500 red carpet, and there's no red flowers, there's no redstone, you can't get redstone at all, and we need the ability to make red wool, right? So what you can do is, I guess on a crafting table if you really want to, or in your inventory, right, you can turn that beetroot into the red dye. So again, not super groundbreaking, but if you need the red dye for that quest, or you just want to dye, I guess, things red in your world, that is how you get it on, or the only way to get it on Cubecraft Skyblock. All right, tip number 8 is for all of you guys that are interested in playing on a co-op island, and that is to be very careful with who you invite to your island. So when you play on co-op, you have the ability to add people to your island. So right here, I'm going to go to my co-op island, right? I can add a player. There's 3 of us total on this island right now. When you add players to your island, they are added as with basically the same permissions that you have, except they can't add and remove other players. And what I mean by that is, as soon as you add someone to your island, they have full ability to open your chests, break your blocks, place blocks. They can do really whatever you can do in your world. So that means that you are certainly opening yourself up to potentially being griefed if that is something that you're doing, right? So ideally, you should trust the people that you're playing with. You should hopefully know them. Like on the case of this island, right? Zombie Steve is an actual real life friend of mine. And for those of you that make the jokes, yes, I have friends. He's a real friend of mine, so obviously he's not going to do it. And then Evil One I spent a lot of time talking to before we actually added him to the island. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If you get griefed, I don't believe there's anything that staff can do to help you. You're pretty much out of luck and just have to kind of deal with it. So be really careful with who you invite to your island, because you don't really have any ability to limit what they can do. So yeah, just think about that before starting an island with somebody that you just randomly met in the hub. Tip number 9 is proof that no matter how long you've been playing on here, there's always stuff you can be learning and getting better at. And that is that fortune actually works on trees too. So I admittedly didn't know this until like a month or so ago. We've literally played for days on this island and never realized it. But fortune does work when you are cutting down trees. So let's see if we can get an example of it to show you guys. I've got this axe here with fortune 4 on it. 1, 2, oh, there you go. Well, that was easy. So we cut down 2 logs and we got 4 in return. So yeah, fortune works on trees if you are using your axe to cut them down. So do that, guys, and it's another great way to double your wood drops and get through some of those rather grindy quests pretty quickly. Keeping with the theme of fortune, let's also talk about fortune on crops. So fortune does work on crops. Someone can keep me honest if it matters what tool you use. I haven't really done crazy in-depth testing with this, but I've got my pickaxe here with fortune 6 on it, and we should see that we're able to get double drops at certain points when we harvest the sugar cane. So that should be 2, and there you go. So I broke 2 of them, and I got 3 in return. I don't know if it makes a difference if you use it on a hoe or some other tool, but fortune does affect your crop harvest rates as well. So use it on your crops, guys, and get those double drops. Tip number 12 for this video is going to be, don't build a giant cactus farm. Don't make the same mistake that I did. It's really not, I would say it's not that worth it. And we had a good discussion about it in one of the last live streams, but you know, I like to play Skyblock. I've played Skyblock on a lot of different servers. Typically cactus farms are at some point or another a great way to make money. The problem with them on Cubecraft is while they do get you a decent amount of money, you know, each cactus takes 50 minutes to grow the next layer, right? So compare that to a normal Skyblock server where you're waiting for, you know, every couple of minutes maybe at most, each cactus is growing and breaking off. You're waiting 50 minutes per cactus here, and it takes a really long time to get a significant amount of cactus. That said, you can build a small one just to have some cactus on hand for either quests or green dye, but I spent a lot of time building this thinking that it was going to make me a ton of money because cactus sells for quite a bit, but it just doesn't grow fast, and you'll outgrow the farm pretty quickly. So, you know, if you want to do it for the fun of it, if you like having one, by all means do it. You can play how you want, but if you're thinking about it from a money-making opportunity perspective, don't do it. It's not worth it. All right, guys, lucky number 13. We've made it to the end, and the last tip that I've got for you guys in today's video is if you want to build super compact chest storage systems, like the one I've got here, where I just have rows of double chests going all the way up. Don't mind all those pork chops. What you want to do is actually alternate between trap chests and regular chests. So if you try to place regular chests next to each other, it won't work. It'll put it back in your inventory. But if you put trap chests next to them, they can form this nice little stair-step storage system that I've got here. And I've had people say, "Oh, well, I didn't think I could build trap chests." Well, I actually thought this too when I first started on Cubecraft Skyblock, and I don't know why I had it in my head this way, but I thought that I needed redstone for the trap chests, since they technically emit redstone signals, but that's not actually the case. So if I type in the tripwire hook, which is what you need to make one, it's just iron, a stick, and oak wood planks. So really, as soon as you unlock iron, you can easily make these chests, and they'll just make everything much more compact and, you know, effectively double the amount of storage that you can fit in a particular space. So that's what I use here. It works super well. It's super easy to make them, and it'll make your life a lot easier. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you found some useful tips that maybe you hadn't heard before as I walked through them all. Again, these are all just things that I wish that I had been able to either watch a video on or know when I first started playing on Cubecraft, and even you know, later on in the game. So again, hopefully you found these helpful. If you like this video, check out some of my other ones. I've got some other great tip videos, and if you haven't already, check out the Let's Play series where I start over again and play from the very beginning, so you guys can follow along and see exactly how I do things and try to make things as efficient and straightforward as possible. Subscribe if you're not. The support you guys have been showing lately has been nuts. I never thought that I'd even be close to 1,000 subscribers at any point. So yeah, just all the love and support, guys. It means a lot. You guys are awesome, and I will catch you in the next video.